Most people would look at this 1976 Jefferson nickel and see nothing more than 5 cents. They would spend it without thinking twice. But what if this small coin could tell its story? What if it could talk about the places it has been, the people who held it, and the incredible events it quietly witnessed over nearly 50 years? This ordinary-looking nickel was born in 1976, one of the most important years in American history. It was a year when the United States celebrated its 200th birthday. Across the nation, there were parades, fireworks, concerts, and celebrations honoring 2 centuries of American independence. While millions of people were celebrating, this nickel was being struck at a U.S. Mint facility, fresh and shiny, ready to begin a journey that would last decades. Nobody knew where it would go or how many lives it would touch, but its adventure was just beginning. Imagine the first person who received this coin. Perhaps it was a teenager buying a cold drink on a hot summer day. Maybe it was a worker stopping at a gas station after a long shift. It could have been a mother buying groceries for her family. We'll never know exactly who held it first, but one thing is certain. From the moment it entered circulation, this nickel started traveling. Every purchase became another chapter in its story. Every pocket became a temporary home. Every cash register became another stop on a journey that would eventually span nearly half a century. Unlike people, coins never choose where they go. They simply move from one hand to another, carrying silent memories of the times they pass through. To understand how remarkable this coin's journey has been, we need to remember what America looked like in 1976. There were no smartphones, no social media platforms, and no internet connecting the world. People used landline telephones attached to walls. If someone wanted directions, they unfolded a paper map. Television offered only a handful of channels, and families gathered together in living rooms to watch their favorite programs. Gas cost less than $1 per gallon in many places. The world moved at a different pace. Yet through all of those changes, this nickel remained the same. The portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the back survived decade after decade, while the country around it transformed. As the late 1970s turned into the 1980s, America entered a new era. New music filled the airwaves. Personal computers began appearing in homes and businesses. Technology slowly started changing everyday life. During this decade, our nickel continued moving through the economy. It may have purchased a newspaper, helped pay for a candy bar, or sat inside a vending machine waiting for the next customer. It could have traveled across state lines in the pocket of a truck driver or rested in a cash register at a small-town diner. Every day brought a new destination. Every transaction connected another person to its growing story. Then came the 1990s, a decade that introduced one of the greatest technological revolutions in human history. The internet was beginning to spread across the country. People started hearing unfamiliar words like email, websites, and online communication. Businesses changed. Schools changed. Daily life changed. Yet this nickel remained exactly what it had always been. A simple 5-cent coin quietly moving through the hands of Americans. Somewhere during this decade, it may have been dropped into a tip jar, stored inside a piggy bank, or forgotten in the corner of a dresser drawer. While the world rushed toward the future, the nickel continued its journey one transaction at a time. As the new millennium arrived, America stepped into the digital age. Cell phones became common. Online shopping emerged. Social media platforms began reshaping how people communicate. Entire industries transformed almost overnight. Through all of it, this nickel kept surviving. Maybe it was sitting inside a convenience store cash register when someone purchased their first mobile phone. Maybe it helped pay for a morning coffee during the early days of the internet boom. Perhaps it spent years hidden in a collection jar before returning to circulation. The possibilities are endless because coins travel in ways we can never fully trace. One of the most fascinating things about this nickel is the number of people who may have touched it. Think about it. If the coin changed hands just once every week since 1976, it could have been passed between more than 2,500 different people. That's thousands of lives connected by a single piece of metal. Teachers, students, doctors, factory workers, soldiers, business owners, mechanics, and countless others may have carried this coin at some point. Each person had their own story, their own struggles, and their own dreams. For a brief moment, all of those lives intersected through this small Jefferson nickel. Over time, the coin began showing signs of its journey. The scratches, marks, and worn details visible today weren't there when it left the mint. Every mark tells a story. Every scratch represents another year of use. Collectors often search for perfect coins with flawless surfaces, but sometimes a worn coin is more interesting because its condition proves it truly lived a life. This nickel wasn't locked away in a vault. It traveled through real American history. It witnessed changing fashions, changing technologies, changing presidents, and changing generations. Many people search old jars and collections hoping to discover a valuable coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. While most 1976 Jefferson nickels aren't rare treasures, that's not what makes them fascinating. Their true value lies in their connection to history. This coin existed during America's Bicentennial celebration. It survived the rise of personal computers, the birth of the internet, the growth of mobile technology, and the arrival of artificial intelligence. It has been present through moments that transformed the nation. Few everyday objects can claim such an incredible connection to the past. So the next time you find a 1976 Jefferson nickel, don't immediately ask how much it's worth. Instead, ask yourself where it has been. How many pockets has it traveled through? How many cities has it visited? How many stories could it tell if it could speak? Because sometimes the most interesting coins aren't the rarest ones or the most valuable ones. Sometimes the most fascinating coin is simply the one that survived history. And this little 1976 Jefferson nickel has been quietly doing exactly that for nearly 50 years, making it far more than just 5 cents. It is a tiny witness to the American story.